Here we got Riddles, Rants, and we got Ultrasound Entertainment, and we got Versatility Vision. I want to talk about the NBA. I know to some of y'all be like, what the fuck? Some people are too deep for the NBA. They flew past that shit, like me. But sometimes you got to talk about it. Some people like on their off time and however they choose to create their off time or relax time. Some people still are into the NBA and shit, but I just wanted to touch on it just for a second about how it changed, and everybody knows how it changed. Like I like to call the 90s. The 90s is the Jordan era. The 90s is Jordan was the fucking goddamn slayer of the ringless Hall of Famers. I'm gonna say that again. The slayer of the ringless Hall of Famers, meaning that there are Hall of Famers out there, plenty of them, very notable, top 10, top 5, according to their position. They're ringless because of Jordan. You know what I'm saying? That whole fucking era, it's like if you was anything, you was at the top of your game and you played against the goddamn Chicago Bulls team, your ass wasn't winning. And that was it. And it's history now, and it's proven history. It's like there's a bunch of ringless Hall of Famers out there. But then, as that left, then, Kobe, he figured the game out and picked the shit apart or whatever. So, when it comes up about, is the league of the NBA, is it rigged? Is it fixed and everything like that? Like, on some occasions, I think so. But then I can't even be in a gray area. It gotta be black or white. It gotta be one or the other. I gotta have my shit in stereo or whatever. So, I would say that it's rigged to a certain extent, but that probably doesn't even put me out of the gray area. It's like either I think it's rigged or I think it's not. So I haven't been able to make a decision on if it's rigged or not or whatever. But when you look at LeBron and you look at like the previous NBA finals and shit, my whole stance on that is I just look at the talent that's out there. It's like, when I'm looking at the NBA finals, it looks like a varsity team. Because it's like nobody's playing defense no more. And I was talking to a couple of people about this and had conversations, whether it be incognito or people knew who I was or whatever. And I talk about it, and I just say like the whole thing about them is like they're undeveloped and shit like that. And what I'm saying about that is like you don't see no Clyde Drexler looking dudes, and you don't see no Charles Oakley looking dudes, and John Starks and John Stockton, Karl Malone looking dudes, like just like a real, like these dudes used just to come out on the streets and stuff like that, and just dominate the ballpark or whatever. And then they went to high school and into college and everything like that. You got to think like these generations that are coming up. There's a lot of shit that I could talk about, especially about like vaccines and things like that, and they have to do with like children growing up now. And you just see like the certain development of certain basketball players and stuff like that. Like they be tall as hell, they ain't got no type of weight on them though. It's like, just imagine like Kevin Durant. Like if Kevin Durant had weight on him and he can still shoot the basketball like he shoots the basketball, he'd be a fucking monster. That'd be the whole thing with LeBron and Kevin Durant, because they're around the same size, just around there, just like that, But like LeBron he's built like a 90s NBA player. A lot of these players aren't built like that, and it's not even saying in the 90s, like a lot of them were built like how we see like some of them, like the Charles Oakleys and the I want to call them grandmama because I can't Is it AJ Johnson? I forgot his name. But you know, that's my whole era. That's what I came up. The Gary Paytons and shit like that, and you know, and Allen Iverson and fucking what's his name? What is his name? I don't want to start naming players and shit, but you would get my point. You know, yeah, Jason Kidd and you know, when it was all rough. Not even going back to the 90s. I mean, not the 90s, but the early 80s. It was still rough in the early 80s. I think it had been rough for a while. You know, until it got towards the mid 2000s. That's when it started to, you know, to soften up and shit like that, because it was motherfuckers was getting into fights like, yeah, there you go, Ron Artest's and the Ben Wallace's and shit like that. All of them motherfuckers and shit. All of them motherfuckers that came into the league and just like it's different, but you know, the change of the change of the NBA, like it's the way that I said that, you know, you could have guarded Stephen Curry. You had to play defense on him. You had to like face guard him. So like you're not even paying attention to where the ball is going. All you know is the ball is not going to him. That's why I said like it's like a lot of these players are underdeveloped. You know, like, I don't know if the vaccines did something to him or whatever happened. I don't know what happened. But it's like a lot of these players are undeveloped when it comes to one man, you know, like LeBron James being one man, because I think that the Warriors and the Cavs were supposed to lose this year. It was supposed to be a whole nother just like spontaneous NBA finals. And I thought it was going to be between Boston and the Houston Rockets. Like, what is that? The Boston and the Houston Rockets, like, you know, who wants that really, right? You know, but it's something that happened between like a team versus one man. Like, of course, like one man is not going to be the team of men who have chemistry and shit. But it all comes down to defense. And you know, Steph Curry is one of the best shooters now, because don't nobody know how to guard a shooter. You know, you used to, you know, guarding the person who's is one on one and you know they're gonna drive eventually, and they're not more than likely to put up a shot and shit like that. And the whole reason I'm speaking on this is because I played ball. You know, in adolescence all the way through high school and a little bit of college. I tried out for a college team, but at that time I was smoking too much nicotine, so I couldn't even keep up with them. And conditioning, you know, I couldn't do it. But you know, like I can speak on it, and that's the way that I would have guarded Curry, was by simply face guarding him. I would have face guarded him and everything, and he'd have never got the ball. And even if I had to foul out, like I would have made sure he didn't get the ball. But you know, that's what I look at, like the talent and everything that's, you know, perceived as talent from the NBA and everything like that. You know, it's like a lot of these guys, you know, maybe they just want the money. You know, just like they want to put on the act like they can play, but you know, because they're tall enough to play and fast enough and, you know, somewhat strong enough and shit like that. But that's it. You know, it was guys, you know, who had nothing, you know, growing up. You know, when you go back to the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, they had nothing growing up. You know, so they wanted a way to make it out. Like now, a lot of these kids, they come from very, you know, well-established households and shit like that. You know, they don't come from poverty no more. It's like just like the Laval or whatever the people name is. It's like they family. It's like, you know, some of them were NBA players and shit, so they didn't have to come up like that. And it seems like that's what it is now. Or, you know, just you know, there aren't players who come from, you know, impoverished areas anymore and everything like that, which is cool. You know, that's fine or whatever. But like, I'm just speaking on the talent that we seen during the 80s and the 90s, and then now where you can go back and look at the 60s and the 70s, and you'll look at the difference, you know, between how it started out to where it was most dominant to where it is now, because it's not the same as it was in the 90s and late 80s for better. Like it got for worse now, because you can't do nothing now. You can't hand check. You can't do a lot of shit, you know, in the NBA. You can't do it no more. So it just seems like, you know, the players are very you know, degenerate and stuff like that. Or it doesn't have to be physically either. It could be mentally or whatever, because, you know, like I said, you go back to vaccines and shit, and started sticking babies with needles, and it's like now that they're making it mandatory and shit like that. So you know, it's crazy, and that's just something that I think about, because like I said, like I don't even watch a full season of the NBA anymore, because it just looks like how it was when I was in high school. It wasn't no like this, just an incredible level of talent where it's like this is considered professional, you know. So then, but when I do watch the playoffs, I just feel like I was like, damn, these motherfuckers is like, you know, it's something wrong. Something's keeping them back from reaching their full capabilities or whatever. And I would say it's like the vaccines and shit, the shots and things like that. You know, then it could be like, you know, they just want it for the paycheck, and it's a celebrity to be a basketball player. You're a celebrity, so you really don't have any heart into, you know, playing ball or anything like that, because it's like the Warriors and the Cavs could have easily been beaten this year, especially from what I saw in Boston. Like, I was like, damn, like these was a bunch of young dudes, younger than me and shit like that. You know, they look older than me, but they was younger than me, but they was hooping. And I thought that they were going to be the ones to, you know, to close them out or whatever. But then that's when you get like there's a fix and shit like that. I don't know really how, you know, you can fix a game or whatever. I know about shading points and what it looks like a point that's been shaved and shit like that. And you got the shit that happened with the referees back in the early 2000s. I mean, it's a lot of shit. But just based off just what we can see right now, what we can just focus on, it's like, you know, like I can just say that you know, this generation of NBA players are just lacking a lot of potential. And, you know, it's like I said, it feels like it's a degeneration, you know, with NBA players, because it's like, you know, mentally are they scared of LeBron and the Warriors or whatever, because everybody knows, like I even say that, and I get on that as well, is that the West is where the finals will be decided. The East is not strong enough to defeat the West in the NBA finals. So it's like if LeBron's going to go to anywhere else, and he would have to go to the West to win the championship. That's if it's like that. I mean, LeBron might not even think like that, because you know what happened when he went to Miami, and everybody was just like, oh, he's just trying to go anywhere to win the championship, and they compare that to Kobe and Jordan and everything like that in between, you know, which, like I said, that's all that is you know, talk for another subject or whatever. But, you know, like my whole thing is, you know, just how it is now. You know, nobody's playing defense. Nobody knows how to guard a shooter like, you know, Stephen Curry. Nobody plays zone anymore either. Nobody does that. One of my friends pointed that out to me. She said that these motherfuckers don't even play zone no more. Everybody just playing man. So, you know, it's different. You know, but, you know, like I said, my whole thing is I think it's a mental thing. I think it's a generational thing. I think it has something to do with the vaccines and how it develops the body, and, you know, black males and stuff like that, you know, because, you know, I mean, I could even go into the WNBA, but I'm not even finna do that. I just wanted to speak on that. Just wanted to speak on, like, you know, like that's what we're going to keep seeing. We're going to keep seeing players go to a dominant team and they get this chemistry, and it's not going to be like, you know, the way it was in you know, past years where you had to have talent and they go to a team and develop, you know, whatchamacallit, and develop chemistry. It's like players just go to a team where they already have dominant players and win championships, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the underdog is the person, you know, and the team who knows how to play defense, you know. I mean, I didn't even mention the coaches or nothing like that. It has nothing to do with the coaches. It's like you as an individual, you're guarding one man, so you got to know how to lock that man down. And I'm just saying that from experience in playing basketball. A lot of people who like it, you know, talk about sports, they never played, and they never played to the level of intensity or the seriousness as I played. You know, but it's some people who have played, and there's a lot of people who've never played a game of basketball. They just go by statistics and stuff like that, you know. So that's just something to think about. But yeah, if y'all want to comment, let me know what you think. Other than that, this is Rants and Riddles and Rants. Ocean Sound Entertainment, Versatility Vision. Peace.